Friday, January 13, 2017. Jean is pleased to bring you today's edition of the Government News Brief. In the news, the management of the Demerara Harbour Bridge is apologizing to commuters for the extended closure yesterday. The Ministry of Public Health is taking steps to prevent waterborne diseases in Buxton, and 14 primary schools have been identified for a pilot program to improve students' performance in mathematics. Stay tuned for these and other stories. Thank you for staying with us. I am Renetta LaFleur. Here are the details. The management of the Demerara Harbour Bridge is apologizing to commuters for the extended opening of the bridge yesterday. Region 3 commuters and those on the east bank of Demerara were affected. Find out why in this report. Maintenance engineer at the Demerara Harbour Bridge Corporation, DHBC, Christopher Granum, says the works undertaken was part of regular maintenance. However, after the work started, the technical crew realized that the extended work is needed, and this resulted in the maintenance taking longer than scheduled.
Yes, due to the critical nature of the state of the post, we carried out the maintenance work yesterday afternoon during the 2:30 hours retraction, and whilst carrying out the works, we encountered some difficulties. That is why we were forced to exceed the hour and a half retraction schedule. And we'd like to apologize to the public for causing the problems on the east bank, but it was regular maintenance work.
The maintenance engineer explains that when an inspection was conducted, it was realized that the work had to be carried out to prevent a collapse. Granum says if this was not done, it would have resulted in the bridge not being in operation for days.
We did some inspection on Wednesday and we found that the post was damaged. It had various problems. The eyes were enlarged. It had a crack. So we had to change it due to the urgency. And yesterday, whilst changing the post, we encountered some difficulty executing the work. So that's why we went over the time limit.
An additional welding team was called in to complete the works. Meanwhile, Granum notes that the night retraction, which restarted last November, is expected to reduce the amount of traffic on the bridge during peak period, which would result in less maintenance.
We have just started with night retractions and we do not have as much data as yet. We have not done enough night retractions to determine how it has been affecting us, but so far I can say we're trying to reduce the amount of vessels that we have for each retraction, which would thereby decrease the amount of time that the retractions would last. So,
in December 2015, government received expressions of interest for the undertaking of a feasibility study and design of a new bridge. The final study of the new bridge will be done by a Dutch company from the Netherlands. The Ministry of Public Health is taking steps to prevent any outbreak of waterborne diseases in Buxton after the recent floods.
Minister within the Ministry of Public Health, Dr. Karen Cummings, yesterday distributed cleaning supplies and disinfectant to residents of Buxton. Dr. Cummings says they are being very careful in trying to prevent an outbreak of gastro.
On behalf of the government, the Ministry of Public Health has decided to bring some medical supplies and some bleach and some Jace fluids and some brochures, pamphlets, to ensure that the populace here will try to prevent the risk of having an outbreak of disease of gastroenteritis.
A donation was made to the Neighbourhood Democratic Council of Buxton Floods. NDC Chairman Dion Abram says the intervention is timely since the NDC usually provides relief to residents after flooding.
So the community has come to expect this kind of intervention, and so they were looking forward to it. So I was pretty happy when I came and I saw that these things are here. So the people will be pleased also.
The flooding in the Buxton village resulted from a breach at the Middle Walk Canal channel door, which allowed water into the drainage system. Some residents say they lost ruminants and produce in the flood. The National Drainage and Irrigation Authority, NDIA, has since intervened to alleviate the flooding. For the Government News Brief, I'm Tiffany Rogers.
14 primary schools have been identified for a pilot program to improve students' performance in mathematics. Zanil Williams has the details.
The first training session in new techniques for mathematics teachers was held yesterday at the Bladenhall Secondary School. The session is part of a program that aims to improve students' math performance. Education officer responsible for primary school in Region 4, Stembios Grant, says the training focuses mainly on content and methodology.
Today we had 59 teachers from our pilot schools attending this training. The training focused on content and methodology. We had a little on-the-spot test with them. After that test, the facilitator would have gone through the answers and all of that. While most of our teachers would have done very well, the results from the test would have shown us that we still have a far way to go.
The content was selected by 11 mathematics supervisors and head teachers of primary schools. There are 56 primary schools. However, the 14 pilot schools will be monitored closely to ensure that current projects are working. Grant says that teaching strategies will be improved through training. Monies were spent to equip classrooms with materials that will make learning of mathematics fun.
Mathematics videos, games, they got charts. They got geometry set, ruler, we bought Scrabble, we bought flashcards, mathematics dictionary. They have to make sure that when they teach maths, it's not just chalk and talk. They have to come up with strategies. We're helping them with some of those strategies.
This initiative is part of government's overall intervention to better mathematics performance at the primary level. Cabinet has approved $48.6 million for the implementation of the plan. I am Zanil Williams for the Government News Brief.
Waramadong is an indigenous village in Region 7. It is one of the many villages that will be receiving internet access this year. Gabriela Patram tells us more.
The e-government network will be taking internet services to a number of hinterland villages during the first quarter of 2017. The villages include Irakrama, Anai, and Kato. According to Presidential Advisor on e-government Floyd Leval, government offices in these townships and regions will be able to use the internet to communicate with their head offices and to carry out their functions.
We will provide ICT hubs. We will establish ICT hubs in those communities where citizens can come to the hubs, those citizens who do not have access to the internet otherwise can come to the hub to have internet access, to use computers, to use printers, and to generally interact with government. Those government agencies that have services online, they'll be able to go there and have access to those government services.
Other areas to be provided with coverage include Mabaruma, Port Kaituma in Region 1, Linden, Bartika, Madia, Kokwani, and Letem. The e-government network currently runs from Skeldon on the Quarantine all the way to Charity on the Essequibo Coast. Meanwhile, 17 post offices will be ICT ready in 2017. Levi says that post offices have played a traditional role. However, the world has become technologically advanced and post offices need to as well.
Citizens wanting to conduct online business, but they may not be within the reach or the range of one of the regular courier services. So they can opt to conduct their business online, make their online purchases, and opt to have the post office deliver that package to wherever they're living. And in the reverse, they can also want to conduct business online by selling products online and have those products delivered to their clients via the post office.
These initiatives are part of the work program of the Ministry of Public Telecommunications to transform Guyana into an information-based society. For the Government News Brief, I'm Gabriela Patram.
Phase 3 of the Literacy and Numeracy program has begun in 13 communities across regions 2 to 6 and 10. Neola Damon tells us more.
Literacy and numeracy trainees are working with teachers and mentors to help other youths in their communities. The program is now in its third phase. Training and Education Officer Ronald Austin Jr. says 3 communities are yet to submit their schedules for classes.
They're now actually teaching literacy and numeracy in their communities. They had outreaches, they recruited persons. Some communities you have up to 15 to 12 persons expressing an interest. What we have discovered is that within those communities there is a real burning interest in this idea of literacy and numeracy.
Austin says that the monitoring and evaluation phase allows the trainee educators to execute what they've learned within 5 months. The Training and Education Officer notes that the project faced numerous challenges, especially in the Berbice area.
It's a very sensitive thing. You have persons who are adults, who are not literate or numerate, and the sensitization has gone down in the community, and it's not easy for some persons, especially when you're dealing with young persons who might be popular within a community, to openly say, hey, I can't read and write, I need assistance.
Austin notes that the success of the project is based on the execution of Phase 3. I'm Neola Damon for Government News Brief.
We have come to the end of today's edition of the Government News Brief. The details of these and other stories can be found on Gina's website. Gina has an active Facebook page, and we encourage you to visit and like us so you can be informed as the news unfolds. Join us on Monday for another edition of the Government News Brief. I am Renetta LaFleur. Do have a safe weekend.